Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes from somewhere far removed from the Big Brother house. And welcome to a recap of night number 11 of Celebrity Big Brother Season 3. Night 11. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, does it? Well, no, it's because we didn't have feeds for the first 8 or 9 nights, so we missed out on a lot of it. But we're quickly getting caught up about what's going on in the house, who's working with who's worried about who's threatening who, everything that you get in your typical Big Brother season, just a whole lot more acceleration. So we did not have an episode yesterday. It's the first non-episode night we've had since the season started. We did not have an episode, so it's strictly talking about the live feeds last night, yesterday afternoon. Not a lot of intense conversation, as sometimes is to be expected between nominations and veto, because yes, indeed, we did have a nomination yesterday. We had the feeds out for a couple hours, and as it turns out, we had nominations. Now, we had seen earlier Chris Kirkpatrick talking about it and saying, I'm not sure that I really want to make a big move right now. I want to protect my people, but I don't really want to go after some big person that's going to maybe get blood on my hands, people coming after me. So he's kind of playing the easy card, per se, the safe card. I don't blame him this early in the season. Let someone else do the dirty work. Protect your people, but beyond that, playing safe, I think, is okay at this stage of the game. So, with that being said, we had nominations. Chris has put up as his nominees during his HOH reign. He's put up Maury and Chris Catan. Yes, indeed. And Maury's probably the primary target of the two of them. Pretty safe choices, I truly think. Neither one of them has a whole lot of people that are going to be real upset. Neither one of them are part of big alliances. They're going to then turn around and come after Chris. So I understand what his thinking is with that. Now, let's talk a little bit, because we haven't had a few nights now to see what's going on. Talk a little bit about who's working with who, what kind of alliances we've got. We had a formation alliance, is what they were calling it. That's pretty much fallen apart. That was Chris and Carson and Todrick, and kind of Todrick's walked away from it. So Formation Alliance, for all intents and purposes, is gone. But we do have a couple of other alliances working. One of them is the Athletes Alliance. I'm not sure they're calling it so much that by an official name, but we are to some degree. But it's an alliance that consists of Lamar, Misha, Todrick, Shanna, and Chris Kirkpatrick. So Chris is part of that little group itself. Now, Mara is an athlete, right? You would think she'd be part of this group, but she's not really. She kind of works with them a little bit, but not so much. And that's why when it came down to picks, I really feel like Mari and Chris Catan, they just don't have the connections that anyone else does in the house. Everyone else has someone else. Even Todd Bridges, who's kind of off on his own, but he still has a tight connection with Lamar, who is part of Chris Kirkpatrick's Athlete Alliance, which I think led to Todd not being put up as well. So that's where we're at. Mara and Chris Catan on the block. We've got the Big Athlete Alliance working together and seeming to watch out for each other. The other tight group that I'm seeing right now is Carson and Cynthia, who have a final. Now remember, Todrick and Misha within that Athletes Conference, they have a final two with each other. The other final two that we have is Carson and Cynthia. And it's Carson and Cynthia, and Shayna to some degree is kind of the third in that particular group. So you've got a group of three over there. You've got this group of five over here from an alliance standpoint. Todd's kind of off on his own. Chris Catan completely off on his own. And then Mari's kind of a little bit with the athletes, but not so much that it saved her for going onto the block. With all that being said, Shayna's in a pretty good spot. She's kind of going under the radar. I don't think she really has anyone upset with her. She's part of this athlete group, but she's also part of the Cynthia Carson group as well. She's kind of playing a floater role right now, going between the two. It's a delicate balance, because it's easy to get one side upset with you if they think that you're more supporting the other side. So it's a dangerous game to play. I kind of relate to it a little bit, but dangerous game to play. But right now, I think she's in a decent position. She'll have to make some decisions at some point and declare some loyalties and such. You can't be a floater forever. But for right now, I think Shayna's in a pretty good position. So we got that. And again, Maury and Chris Catan are just they just don't have the connections in the house to protect themselves. And as a result, it makes it easy to pick them because you don't have to worry about blowback if you're the HOH. Now, Mari on the block. Is anyone upset? Yeah, a little bit. Lamar Odom is upset that she's on the block. Todd Bridges is a little bit because Lamar is upset. Lamar and Amari have been talking quite a bit. We've seen some conversations on the episodes, etc. So they're close. Strategically, gameplay, and all that. I haven't seen a lot of conversations from them with regards to playing the game. Of course, I haven't seen a lot of conversation about gameplay from Lamar at all. Just casual conversations, but they're friends. They're tight. So Lamar's not happy that she got put up. Is he going to blame Chris and come after Chris Kirkpatrick? Chris and Chris and stuff. Is he going to do that? Nah, probably not. I think he's a little more laid back in the game. That's the right way to put it, right? Laid back. So now it's, but Lamar's a little upset. Todd Bridges is as well. He had told Chris that don't do it. Just don't do it. And, but he did it and he'll be all right. All right. We've got Misha and Todrick, talking in the storage room. They're worried. Misha, they're worried that we've got some mental comps coming along, and that if that's the case, Carson could really be a strong threat. They're worried about Carson, and I get it. Todrick, at the very first, we thought Todrick and Carson were going to work together, right? There was a lot of talk that they were going to be a duo, a tough to beat duo. Well, I don't know. Maybe ego's got in the way a little bit, or just recognizing who the big threats are in the game, but Todrick continues to really talk and whisper a lot about Carson and the threat to everyone's game Carson is. And at this point, again, we got Todrick in the storage room talking, and they're worried that Carson is going to be really good at those things and is a real threat. It's easy to say things like that when you're not HOH. When you're trying to talk someone else into making these hard decisions and the tough nominations and all that, I'm kind of gunning for, hoping for a Todrick HOH come Thursday, Monday. I'm not even sure when the next HOH will be. I'm still trying to figure these episodes out, but kind of curious to see if Todrick's willing to put his money where his mouth is, if he has the power. Would he go after Carson? Or would he then at that point maybe, I don't know, yeah, Carson and Cynthia would be in an easy pick outside the alliance that Todrick's in right now. Would he do that, or would he just turn around and go after Todd and Chris or something like that? I don't know, but I'm putting it right there right now. I'd like to see Todrick maybe get HOH, just because I think he's going to bring a little more chaos, a little more fighting, and everything else into this game. There's some ways I think Todrick maybe is overplaying just a little bit. As much as he's whispered around, I think some of this is going to get back to Carson, and Carson's just it's creating opposition. If you're not too careful. But we've got them talking in the storage room about how worried they are about Carson, and I get it. Meanwhile, we've got Chris Kirkpatrick talking to Todrick in the HOH room a little bit later, and he's saying that, look, I think that you and myself and Shayna, we should be able to take out Carson. Yeah, he's a threat. He's dangerous. He could win these competitions and everything else, but we've got strong players as well. I think if we're just careful, we're a little bit cautious, we wait until the time is right, I think we can take out Carson at some point in the future. So again, you got Todrick wanting to just full speed ahead. You've got Chris, who's protecting his game a little bit, not wanting to get anyone upset with him. Remember, even though you've got Carson and Cynthia not part of this Athletes Alliance, Chris has spent a lot of time talking to them even before he made his nominations and letting them know that he's not their that they're not his target. Now that he didn't pick either one of them for the nominations, I've got to think that he's not going to be Carson or Cynthia's targets either. So he's done a good job to insulate himself at this point in time. We've got Chris and Chris talking to Todrick some more, and he's saying, look, I want to play a loyalty game. That's what I'm all about, is playing the loyalty this season. And that's good. That's what you want to tell someone that's part of your alliance, right? I think it's easy right now. I'm not sure what the order is going to be, and the Todrick Carson could throw a bit of a wrench into the gameplay. But I would think right now, no one's going to want to make huge, gigantic moves, even though it's only a 29-day season. But because of that, I'm not sure what the eviction order is going to be. But I really see Mari and Chris Catan and Todd Bridges perhaps being the next three out in no particular order. But I could see that happening. So it may be not until we're down to 6 or 7 that people have to start picking off people within their group and being a little more specific about just where their loyalties may lie. So that being said, we may have a week where you don't have a whole lot of fireworks, but after that, it's going to get incredibly exciting. I know that for sure. All right, so we've got that. House guests start wandering around. Again, there's not a lot of game talk that happened overnight, but they stayed up forever. Lord, they were up till 4 o'clock or so in the morning, Big Brother time. It was a long time. And of course, I'm paying attention because you never know when something will be said that's a little bit important. But we've got Chris Catan, who spent a lot of time back in the bedroom, the cuckoo clock room, the clock room, I guess, just by himself, kind of staring off into the distance, contemplating life, his position on the block. Not so different than the first few nights we've seen of the live feeds anyway. Chris is just not one of those that goes everywhere talking to people and talking game and everything else. He's kind of just his own little soul. So he's in a bedroom contemplating. A few people came in, checked on him, but he's not doing a whole lot to save his hide or anything else. Maybe he's waiting for the veto and wait to see if he wins it or not before he makes a lot of pitches and campaigns. But we haven't seen it yet. Chris is pretty quiet right now. We have most people in bed. I'm discovering Celebrity Big Brother, for the most part, doesn't stay up nearly as long as the regular Big Brother house guests do. They're going to bed a little bit earlier. Carson goes to bed earlier than most. We had a lot of conversation. Lamar does not like sleeping in his house. He's complaining it's hot all night long. He's miserable, so he's not having a lot of fun. Heck, they got him a special bed that's extra long just for him. So hey, be grateful for what you got, Lamar. But we did have one small group that stayed up again all night long, it seems like, and that was Lamar and Mari and Todd. They were in the kitchen and not a whole lot of game talk, talking about tattoos and the history of some of their tattoos and all that. Mari talking a lot about skating and what she's done. Gotta say, skating's an expensive sport. She talked about how much her skates and boots and everything else cost. Wow. Hey, when you're a pro, you go for the best equipment there is out there. But they talk a lot about that. They're playing cards. Again, everything that doesn't relate to the actual gameplay conversation. But they did that till late in the evening before finally calling it a night. And that's it, guys. Again, not a whole lot of conversation. The main takeaways from last night's feeds is, first of all, the nomination of Mari and Chris Catan. And following that, just seeing some more solidification of these different alliances. We did have Todrick and Shayna talking a little bit about Misha and really feeling like she's maybe the strongest player in this game right now from a physical standpoint, and them thinking that she probably will protect them more than anyone else. The fact that she wasn't put on the block, they've been working with her. Chris feels comfortable that Misha wouldn't go after him. Shayna kind of feels like she's shown loyalty to Misha as well. So it's funny, the threats that I continue to hear from a lot of people last night and during the day. Carson's a big threat, and Misha are the big threats. Carson more so maybe the mental competitions, Misha the physical competitions, but certainly the competitive side. Those are the two I keep hearing talk about. And then you got Todrick over there just whispering away and stirring up a little dissension and such, or a little targeting towards Carson. We'll see if that goes anywhere or not. So what's going forward? I don't think that we're going to have the vetoes today. Could be wrong, but I think we may have the veto on Monday. And after that happens, depending on who wins, we'll see if Mari or Chris pulls himself off the block. Then who goes up? Maybe Todd. I don't know. I don't think there's some huge blindside planned by Chris Kirkpatrick this week, but things change. Give it another 24 hours, we may be completely different. And once it happens, I'll be back to talk about that as well. Guys, y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a great one. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.